Blimey, is that track I see? Stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly. You might think, oh my life, what's he gone and done again now? Don't worry, this is part of the process. Calm yourselves. What I've done, this board is OSB, which I believe is oriented strand board, which obviously means that there's chips of wood. So obviously wood gets scrapped and it goes through a chipper, and then it goes into a big press with a load of glue, and they press it down firm into the required thickness. Then the top surface is sanded, etc., etc. Now, I am not familiar so much with this board, but you might be thinking, well, why have I got it then? Well, because it was going cheap in B&Q. It was in their cutting bin. And as you know, you just give a donation and you walk away with it. It's as simple as that. You might have seen some of the last clips from the previous videos. Some of the ends were just literally snapped off. That's absolutely fine. I've cut it off with a saw, cut it to the shapes I want, as you saw in the previous video. So all I've done now is just varnished it with some of that. Loads of brands are available. That one just happens to be clear matte varnish from Ronseal, and it does the job like it says on the tin. But loads of brands are out there, so please don't feel you've got to use that one. It's up to you what you use. What I will say though is make sure you varnish the underside first, because when you come to varnish the top bit, if you do get any runs, they will appear on the bottom. Whereas if you do it the other way round, you will have every blob and lump appearing on the top surface, and you've got to deal with that afterwards. Okay, see you in a bit. All right, welcome back. As you can see, all the boards are now varnished and sealed, so hopefully that should be protected against any possible moisture that may try and come in. And all the boards are now back into place. Now, there are lots of other little things to do, like I did mention in the last video. I'm going to make this a little bit wider. Little things like that, really. New mills is sagging this way a little bit, so I need to put a prop in there to level it up a bit. Little things like that. But for this video, let's go over to that section, because I started work on the track whilst all these boards here were wet with varnish. So let's take a look over there. So I'm on to this section now. So obviously this is the line that comes up around here, and then it comes out through this gap here, and obviously then we'll join up. This was the piece that's come out of there. Okay, now all I've done since is I've added a bracket there, which obviously that will sit on there, and that will rest on the side there. Now there is a huge gap down here, so obviously I will need to address that, but that's neither here or there. There's something can easily be glued to the bottom of this, or vice versa. But this track here was in a bit of a state, so I've had to remove that. And then you can probably see I've put some marks on there with a Sharpie pen, or any other permanent marker that you find is helpful. Now, what I tend to do is I draw a line on the bit that I want to keep. So I cut up to the bit that I don't want. So my blade will touch the edge of that, and then the bulk will obviously be in this section. So, you know, I shall know exactly where to cut for that, and then it's just a case of finding a new piece that's going to go in there. So I'll do that and I'll come back to you in a minute. All right, there we go. So that bit's now back in. This bit has got screws in the top purely because this is gluing to that. Once it's gone off, I'll take these two big screws out. But hopefully that will be all right. There is a break in the track there. I can't remember why I put that in, but so I think power will be fine to here. And there's certainly connections right through from here. So I will be able to connect this part of the track and send some droppers through to this section. So it should be fine. I just want to get power up and running, and then we'll be absolutely okay to carry on with that. My next job is to build this section, which is then going to link into the bridge. So what I'm going to do first of all is use a piece of plywood to sit on top of that section, which I can then screw into this board here, and then use smaller pillars bits up here on top of the plywood, and then another piece of plywood to sit on the top of that. So it should be like probably look like the Parthenon to some degree, if you like, or my version of it. And you probably will have noticed I've removed the scenery from this section ready to receive the track bed coming in up this part. So it's getting there bit by bit. Well, I've been very busy. The props have gone in now. They're being glued in, so that's made new mills level. And there's obviously this big thing in the middle. I'm not going to say what that's for just yet. That will come. Now, you might be thinking, what have I done here? Surely that's not going to be the bridge, is it? No, this is a mock-up. But it will get me trains running for a short time. So I will put a track on it. And then when I come to make the real one, I'm not under pressure to make the real one. I want to get... My priority now is to get track down and get new mills operational again. So I really want to get that rebuilt and that sort of thing. I'll come back to this in a while. So I'm not going to say it could be a month or two, maybe even after Christmas. I really don't know yet. Yeah, so it's just a case of that's where we are. Mind the glue. Now, the other thing I've just discovered, that this has got a big dip in the middle. You can see that gap. So what I've got to do is now to make some taller pillars in here. So I should use this piece to make the pillars in there. And I think then I'm ready to start laying some track. I probably need to modify that a little bit. Maybe take that point back by, you know, maybe to there. I don't know. I'll have to think about it so the line comes off a bit sooner than it does. But yeah, getting there. All right, I'll crack on and I'll show you the rest in a bit. Well, everywhere's a bit of a mess at the minute, but you can see I've now started to get some track down. And I only got to about there. And I am short on points, so I can only put in so much, and the rest will just have to wait, I'm afraid. But I'm going to put a piece in from here now to there, because then the train can come along here and it can go to the left-hand track. And also when a train's coming the other direction, you might be able to make it. I've put a crossover in just over there, so a train can come that way and go up this way. So it'll work in both directions. That's the point. Right, I'll get a bit more done and I'll show you in a bit. Right, so I've had enough for today. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night time on Saturday. So hopefully this video will be out tomorrow. But the track is laid all around to that box, the first screws. That piece is just placed, but that will join up with the platform 1 track, and then when I get a point I'll be able to connect that up, and obviously another point for the siding. And so I think, I'm not sure I've got a point to go back that way, so it'll just be curved round and so on. So I've got all this to sort out tomorrow, but yeah, I'm really pleased with the way that's coming on. And just in case any of you wondering, yes, it will be a reversing loop. So I've got a reversing module due to arrive tomorrow as well. But we'll talk about wiring of that and 1 or 2 other bits in a separate video. So this is just literally just getting the joins up and some of the track down. Okay, so I'll catch you shortly. Well, it is the next day now, and I'm looking back at what I've done yesterday. And to be honest with you, I'm regretting putting this second line in. So I'm going to remove it. And when I reveal the plans, you will realise actually, yes, it does need to come out. So I'm going to remove this point, the whole of that, and then that will free up that point there. So that line will literally just merge straight into this side. So a train can still come up this way or this way and go back that way or that way. So it won't make a slightest jot of difference, but we'll streamline things. And that will give me more space this side to build the bank over a little bit and then put more trees in, etc., etc. Because the whole of this area is just smothered in trees. All right, I'll catch you shortly. There we are, that's better. So the single line, there'll be a third radius point curve coming around here. And then obviously those two lines merge into the one. So down here or down here and vice versa. Okay, I'll catch you shortly. Right, welcome back. So you can see now I've got all the track so far down. That is just temporarily placed to give you an idea of what that station's going to be or be like. Anyway, single track station. And obviously these pieces are here just to balance the weights. So this is just one single track going all the way around, and that is connected up. Okay. And what I mean by that is it's literally just joined. Just to bring you on the inside, I am cutting across these boards here. So again, I can remove it. And when I do the wiring, you will see me removing the boards, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to wire it, because this in essence is a reversing loop. So it does go from one point in a big loop and back to another point. I'll explain more about that in the next video. But I do think that looks an awful lot more streamlined now. So you've got the double track coming into a single track, and then it can go off in either direction. And although I'm not going to have it done for this video, I have managed to retrieve that left-hand point I was talking about. So hopefully I can get that in there and then get those two tracks going into New Mills. Obviously that needs straightening, that left-hand track, because it's going off to the left. There's a bit of a kick out from this before, but we're getting there bit by bit by bit by bit. So I'm going to leave the video there. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will catch you again next time, hopefully seeing some trains running. Okay, speak soon. Bye for now.